Welcome back, everyone! The crypto market is absolutely buzzing right now, with some fascinating moves, so let's just dive right into this week's summary. You've got Bitcoin holding steady near a really critical level, while the big institutions are watching those ETF flows like a hawk. It really feels like a tug of war, you know? A battle between fundamental strength and institutional caution. It's a complex picture for sure, so let's get into it and break this all down.
Okay, so here's the deal. The big picture. The market is truly at a crossroads. On one hand, we're seeing some serious strength, with prices consolidating at these incredibly high valuations. But on the other hand, there are some very clear signs of caution coming from the big players. And that push and pull, that tension, that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. And what's holding all this together? The anchor? Well, it's Bitcoin. It is holding firm right near a massive psychological and technical level. Look, this isn't just some random number. It's a huge resistance point that traders and institutions have their eyes glued on. You could say Bitcoin's stability right here is kind of like a thermometer for the entire market's health.
But, and this is the really interesting part, here's the twist. Even with that high price, institutional funds have seen net outflows of over $450 million. Now, this isn't necessarily a panic signal. It's more likely the pros, the big fish, are taking some profits off the table after a really strong run. It's a classic sign of maturing market, but a cautious one.
So, that leads us perfectly into our first major force, the Titans. Let's take a closer look at the two absolute pillars of the crypto world, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and see how their stories are actually starting to diverge a bit. And you can really see what I mean here. It's fascinating how they're playing such different roles. Bitcoin has basically become the ultimate institutional thermometer. Its price moves are almost a direct reflection of big money flowing in and out of those ETFs. Ethereum, though, it's the technological engine. Its value is being built on a completely different foundation, that incredibly powerful smart contract ecosystem and a constant stream of really important tech upgrades.
So let's zoom in on Bitcoin for a second. It's in a real battle right now, testing that critical resistance zone between $90,000 and $92,000. A clean break above this level could seriously trigger a strong upward move. The things to watch are those institutional ETF flows and, of course, what happens to traders betting against the price. You know, if all those folks get squeezed and are forced to buy back in, it could just pour fuel on the fire and set the pace for the whole market.
Now look at Ethereum. It's playing a totally different game. Yeah, it's rebounded above $3,000, but the real story is in its fundamentals. There's an upcoming upgrade that promises to seriously boost its performance, which only strengthens its dominant position in the DeFi space. This just goes to show that Ethereum's value is being built on solid tech, not just market hype.
Okay, let's switch gears to our second force at play, the challengers. These are the ambitious altcoins, and each one is bringing something unique to the table, whether it's new tech or a new strategy. All of them fighting for a bigger piece of the pie.
So if you're looking past the big two, the question you've got to ask yourself is this. Which of these challengers has the most potential for real, long-term structural growth, not just a quick hyped-up price pump? Let's take a look at three major contenders.
All right, first on the list, Solana. What's so compelling here is the institutional stamp of approval. Big money is now flowing into Solana-specific ETFs. It's also backed by this unique technology called proof of history, which helps it process transactions super fast, making it perfect for DeFi. All this really positions Solana for that kind of long-term structural growth investors are hungry for.
Then we've got Cardano, which has quietly advanced a solid 20% in just the last week. Its core strength really comes from its proof-of-stake model and its staking ecosystem. It's got this really solid system that basically rewards people for holding on for the long haul and securing the network. This combo of solid fundamentals and recent price action has technical analysts watching very, very closely for a bigger breakout.
And then there's XRP. Wow, talk about a media frenzy. CNBC even called it the hottest crypto operation of 2026. And get this, it actually surpassed Bitcoin and Ethereum in initial media interest. All this attention, plus the buzz around potential ETFs and growing institutional adoption, makes XRP a challenger you just can't afford to ignore right now.
Okay, take a deep breath, because we're about to dive into our third force. And this is where things get really wild. This is the speculative fever, where logic can sometimes take a backseat to pure, unadulterated hype. Yep, you guessed it. The meme coins are back, and they are back in a big way, capturing the imagination of traders who are hunting for those viral stories and the kind of explosive, lightning-fast gains that can come with them.
Just look at this chart. The numbers are insane.
and they really capture the frenzy. PP has surged over 60% in a single week. Meanwhile, the OGs, Doge and SHIB, are seeing massive trading volumes. This chart shows the incredible potential for profit, but it's really only one side of the coin.
And here is the other side. This is the crucial context, the reality check. The hype is real, but so is the risk. We have to remember the lesson from 2025, when just countless tokens with similar viral hype went straight to zero, totally disappeared. It's the classic high-risk, high-reward game taken to the absolute extreme in this corner of the market.
And hey, it's not all about the memes either. Other assets are catching fire for different reasons. You've got Sui, for example, which is getting attention for its strong technicals and a whole pipeline of new DeFi products, a much more fundamental approach. And then, of course, you have Memecoin, whose incredible rally is a perfect example of how pure community speculation can drive these massive, unpredictable moves.
Whew, okay. That was a lot. So let's bring it all back home and recap the absolute key things you need to watch this week to make sense of this market. So first up, you've got the Titans. Bitcoin is at this critical decision point, while Ethereum is just quietly building on its fundamental strength. Second, you have the challengers. Solana, Cardano, and XRP are each making a really serious case for themselves through institutional interest and a whole lot of media hype. And finally, the wild cards. The meme coins are back, just to remind us that this market never ever sleeps.
Which brings us to the million-dollar question, or maybe the billion-dollar question, right? As we move forward, which of these powerful forces is ultimately going to win out and dictate the market's next big move? Is it going to be the careful, calculated decisions of institutional investment, or the wild, unpredictable energy of viral euphoria? That is the question on everyone's mind.
And just before we wrap up, a quick but very important notice.
Please remember, everything we've talked about today is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. The cryptocurrency market is extremely volatile and it carries a significant amount of risk. Always do your own research and really consider your personal financial situation before you make any investment decisions. Thanks for tuning in.